Getting engaged is a moment worth cherishing. A one-of-a-kind ring that you design at Blue Nile can help your love sparkle. Just choose your diamond and setting. When you've found the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Finding the right engagement ring can be nerve-wracking. At Blue Nile, you'll have the expert guidance needed and a diamond guarantee that ensures you're getting the highest quality at the best price. Cherish all of life's moments and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
What do you call a group of divers? A diving dozen, in case of Team GB's latest team announcements. I'm outside the Aquatic Centre in the Olympic Park. As many of you will know, my second best place in the world, as Tom Daley, Jack Law, Grace Reed and a new generation of British divers are unveiled for Tokyo. I'm John.
And I'm Michael. John, you messaged me yesterday morning and simply said the Olympics are next month. Next month. And with that, we really are into the very final preparations. Team announcements are coming very quickly now. We'll hear about two from Team GB shortly, whilst Paralympics GB are naming their wheelchair rugby squad as we record. And still the stories emerge from Tokyo, though, about how the public are hugely against having these games. But they are going ahead, that's despite public opinion. And I would say my honest belief is that once they are underway in the safe and secure way the IOC and the local organising committee are planning, then some of that public opinion may change.
As Naomi Osaka quits a Grand Slam over the media and her mental health, Paralympic world champion and world record holder Hannah Cockroft tells us it's time for a change.
You have to, at some points, when everything is just not going well, you have to put yourself first, because otherwise, being in the public eye, it tears you down after a while, and it's hard.
We'll also hear all about Birmingham's answers to the gamesmakers at next summer's Commonwealth Games. And you can get in touch anytime at Anything But F on Twitter, or message us on Insta and Facebook, our website anythingbutfooty.com, or email anythingbutfooty@gmail.com.
So plenty to get through on this edition of Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic Sport podcast.
So a dozen divers have been named to represent Team GB in Tokyo this summer. That's one more than went to Rio 5 years ago, and once again led by two-time Olympic bronze medalist Tom Daley, appearing in his fourth Olympics, and he's still only 27. Daley's in form, winning a silver in the European Championships in the 10-metre platform and winning synchro gold with Matty Lee in both Europe and the World Cup in Tokyo, an event used as a test for the Olympics in less than 2 months' time. Tom, another Olympics. Did you ever think that when you were first picked in Beijing?
My God, I know, it's Olympics number 4 now, and I've gone from the youngest on the team in 2008 to now the granddad, a grand old age of 27 for my 4th Olympic Games.
What does it mean, though, this time?
You know, it's just as exciting as the first time to be announced on the Olympic team to represent Team GB, wear the Team GB kit, the Olympic rings on your chest. All of those things is so exciting. And, you know, back in 2008, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, it was just all about the experience. Whereas now, having had 20 years of experience in the sport, I'm just excited to be able to get to the competition, enjoy it, and, you know, I just feel very fortunate that it's even happening in the first place.
Since Rio, your family situation's changed, so are you performing for somebody else now, maybe?
I wouldn't say I was performing for anyone else, but I just I don't let diving define me. I don't let diving, you know, whether I dive well or poorly, if that doesn't define who I am. First and foremost, I'm a husband and a father, and, you know, my son is the most important thing to me, and, you know, although diving may be second, it's still extremely important to me, and I can just go into these competitions with that different perspective of taking that pressure off myself, because I know they're going to love me regardless of how I do. So, it normally allows me to enjoy it and dive better.
And you are diving really well. 2 golds and a silver in the last few weeks, and a personal best?
Yeah, no, everything's going extremely well. I'm also experienced enough to know that when you get to the Olympic Games, all of those competitions that have happened in the year mean nothing. So I just have to make sure that I keep on focused on what I'm doing right now. Whether it was good or bad this year so far, I just have to make sure that I'm ready to perform my best at the Olympics.
You were at a Tokyo test event. Is
Yes.
it safe?
It felt extremely safe for us while we were there in Tokyo. We were tested every day. There was distancing, there was protocols and procedures in place, there were limits on numbers, we weren't allowed to leave the hotel, we didn't mix with any Japanese public, so it felt very strict, and there were people enforcing it throughout. So if it was anything like that for the Olympic Games, I think it'll be safe, but also we have to just respect that the Japanese public for allowing us to go to their country, for them to host the Olympic Games. And I think, we may feel safe, but it's also important that they have to feel safe.
2 bronze medals for you at the Olympics. Do you want a different colour?
I mean, I'd love to have a different colour than bronze at the Olympic Games, but I just have to focus on what I can control, and that's at my performance. So I'm going to go there, try and do the best performance I can, and the results will look after themselves.
And you dive with Matty Lee.
Yes.
Your mates.
Yes.
What's the worst bit about him? What's the thing that really frustrates you?
When we're sharing a room, Matty eats so loudly, and especially at the moment where your food gets delivered to your rooms and we sit next to each other eating, and it's like, how many times do you want to chew that food before you swallow it? But no, it's funny. But the funny thing is that I tell him about it, like, Matty, you're doing it again. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm enjoying it. And at the end of the day, that's just the funny thing that it doesn't actually bother me. It's just more now become a thing.
The final one, does it help that you're mates?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a massive difference that Matty and I are friends, because we're able to talk about things, we're able to discuss things, and it's also fun to be able to do something with one of your best mates, to be able to have like that ability to just go and travel and share a room with someone that you also like is also really nice.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Always good to hear from Tom, the granddad of the team now. Matty Lee will make his Olympic debut alongside other newbies to the Olympics anyway. Aidan Chang from the Crystal Palace Diving Club. So too Andrea Spendolini-Siriex. From the City of Leeds, Katherine Torrance.
Still even think now it hasn't really sunk in. I think when you spend however many years, 15 years training for one particular event, to then be going, it's a bit like, oh, okay, like, wow, we've done it now. So yeah, I think it'll take a little while, but mainly excited, I would say.
And here at the Olympic Park, in 9 years on from 2012, yes. How much did that inspire you to get to where you are?
Oh, massively. I mean, I watched, I think I went to watch like a couple of volleyball matches with my dad, and obviously I watched everything on TV, and just like seeing so many athletes excelling in such an amazing way, it makes you like, I want to do that, I want to be there, I want to make myself and my country proud.
So tell me your dreams for Tokyo. You've had your dream, you've been selected. What's the next bit when you get out there?
I think that's the thing, for me it was like, let's go, and from here on out anything is a bonus. The dream is obviously a medal, I don't just want to go and do 5 dives. I'd love to medal, and I think me and Grace have a very good chance at it, but when I'm out there, the dream is just to enjoy myself and just experience every single part of it.
Well, many congratulations.
Thank you.
Once again. Thanks for talking to us.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Also making their debuts, Scarlett Mew-Jensen from here at the Olympic Aquatic Centre, and Noah Williams, also set to perform in Tokyo 2020 in 2021.
It means a lot because obviously, I've been working towards this my whole life because it's the first games. Also means a lot because there's a lot of divers in Great Britain who are good enough to be on this team, but to beat them and to prove that I'm, better and good enough to be here is a great feeling.
What was it like going out for the Tokyo test event?
I wasn't competing there, but I was there. But it was a strange experience because obviously, we were literally in our hotel room and then bus to the pool and then back to the hotel room, and not being outside for 2 weeks was strange. But obviously, that's what needed to be done to keep the country safe and to make sure the event went ahead. So it was a strange experience, but it was good getting to know what it's going to be like at the Olympics.
And your message to maybe other people who are maybe worried about going out there, or people back at home going, well, are these things going to take place? I think the message is it was safe and it will go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Very safe. They had many procedures in place, and they were very thorough with it. But, it's safe, and I'm ready to go out there in 6 weeks' time.
What are you now hoping to go and achieve?
One step at a time. In the prelim, all I'll be thinking about is trying to make the semi-final. Then in the semi-final, all I'm thinking about is trying to make the final. But if I am in that final, I just have to do my best, 6 dives, one at a time. And diving's a sport where anything can happen. Even the best divers mess up on their day. And if I have a really good day, anything can happen. Unlikely, but that's the sport, so we'll just see what we can do.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck. Many thanks for talking to Anything But Footy.
Thank you.
So it's a team of 12 divers. James Heatley makes up the squad from Edinburgh. Returning alongside Tom Daley is Rio gold and silver medalist Jack Law from the City of Leeds club, the Rio bronze medalist Dan Goodfellow, Grace Reed, who finished 8th in Rio, and Lewis Tolson from the City of Leeds club, 5th in Rio. They won 3 medals in Rio, Team GB, Law, Daley and Goodfellow, all returning this time, although Law admitting he needs a lot more work to do after a disappointing Europeans. So this is a bright, young and vibrant team. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of them today, as you've been hearing, made up of training teams from the Olympic Park, Dive London, also Crystal Palace and Leeds. This doesn't want to do the business. They know they've done brilliantly getting to the Games, but now a medal is the aim, and beat that tally from Rio. Tokyo may be a learning curve for many of them, but with Paris 2024 not that far away, it's certainly looking bright for British diving. Also, all of them admit being inside for 2 weeks in Tokyo was tough, but they performed and did a job, and no doubt they'll do the same during Games time.
And if you missed one of our previous editions of Back on Track, it was a swimming special with Adam Peaty and the rest of the British swim team. Never fear, it is available if you subscribe, and there could be some more names added to the Olympic team as British swimming stages its Glasgow Meets event at Tollcross in Glasgow this week. Racing begins on Thursday morning at 10.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast. More team announcements to come, and we will be hearing what it takes to be a gamesmaker in Birmingham. They're not going to be called that either. So what will they be called at the Commonwealth Games? We'll be telling you a bit later on. Now, a double Olympic champion, an Olympic bronze medalist, and a triple world and European champion, but no place for a double Olympic medalist who won bronze and silver and was aiming for gold in Tokyo. Lutalo Mohammed, who famously lost the gold medal with a kick to the head in Rio 5 years ago in the last seconds of his Taekwondo final, will watch Tokyo from home after the team announcement in Manchester this week. Michael went along to meet the team.
Yeah, what a pleasure to be back in Manchester at the National Taekwondo Centre for the announcement of the team for the Tokyo Games. They are Jade Jones, Lauren Williams, Bianca Walkden, Bradley Sinden and Muhammad Cho. Jade Jones, we'll start with her. She made history by becoming Great Britain's first ever Taekwondo athlete to win gold at the London 2012 Games. And then she doubled that tally, of course, in Rio 4 years later. The Welsh fighter continues to deliver as well. She won gold at the 2019 World Championships and took the European crown for a third time in April this year. Her Welsh colleague Lauren Williams switched from kickboxing to taekwondo after being inspired by Jones at 2012. She was a reserve for Rio 2016. She's won 3 European titles and recently claimed a silver medal as well. 3-time world champion Bianca Walkden. She has gold in her sights. It would be her first Olympic title. She won the bronze medal in Rio but wasn't happy with that. She goes to Tokyo with her 3rd European title under her belt. To the men, Muhammad Cho is also competing in his 2nd Games. He finished agonisingly 4th in Rio, and he really does want to improve on that and get an Olympic medal. This time he's been selected ahead of fellow Londoner Lutalo Mohammed. That brings a certain amount of pressure. And Bradley Sinden completes the team. He became Britain's first ever world champion as far as the men are concerned in 2019. He will make his Olympic debut. But let's hear more about that announcement now, and I had the opportunity to speak to 2-time Olympic champion Jade Jones.
It's kind of a bit of deja vu, to be honest, you know, the whole setup and people coming in for the announcement day. But yeah, I feel really lucky, and you know, when I look back to think this is my third games, you know, it's pretty cool.
Is it still exciting for you, or does it now feel like the target's on your back, this is work, you've got a job to do?
Yeah, I think it definitely was a bit more exciting when I was 19 and, you know, getting the kit and you're just excited to go to the Olympics, whereas now, like you said, it's obviously I'm still excited it's the Olympic Games and, you know, want to wrap in all the memories as well. But like you said, I've got a goal, a target on my back, so it's about going there and getting that done.
It's going to be a little bit different this time. How have you been preparing for that?
Yeah, you know, it has been a lot different, you know, the journey, but we've just had to kind of adapt, and sometimes we've been training from home, sometimes we've been in small groups and doing all kinds of different things, you know, yoga and training outside and sparring in the garages, but I think it's what makes this journey special, and I think, you know, it shows a lot of mental strength, and if I'm on top of that podium in the end, it'll be even more better.
So this is your third games, but there are debutants in the team. Do you feel a little bit sorry for them that maybe they won't get that full experience that maybe you had in London and then again in Rio in terms of ceremonies and everything?
Yeah, to be fair, I think that's what it is sad, you know, for the people who it's their first time, and I've kind of told them they're going to definitely have to go to another Olympics because, like I said, it's not fair really to go to an Olympics and this is your only experience. But yeah, you know, it's still Olympic Games at the end of the day, and I think if they've got a medal around their neck, I think they'll forget about all that, and I think, you know, everyone will still manage to make it really special.
The mantra of just, it has to be about getting athletes to the start line, is that something that's been said here?
Yeah, like you said, I think, you know, we've all trained really hard. It's been 5 long years, so just to get to the Olympics, for it to be on and to have that chance to get your medal, I think that's what, you know, the athletes deserve.
In London, of course, it was the helmet going up in the air. You were racing round the mat and jumping into your coach's arms in Rio. What have we got to look forward to in Tokyo?
I don't know, to be honest. I do think of it sometimes. I think, God, what would I do? It's always just a spur of the moment, so that literally was my natural reaction. Honestly, I think if I win this time, I'd just be like, oh my God, I think I'll just have to take a seat, take it all in and just be like, I don't know. I'd love to be able to backflip, to be fair, but I've not learned that yet, so we'll have to save that for another time.
And 3 gold medals, they'll make you a dame.
I hope so. That's the aim. You know, honestly, I can't even describe how amazing it would be to win for this third time. I think my story has just been so amazing, and you know, Youth Olympics, London, Rio, but to get this gold would just make it all wrapped together, and you know, just another bit of history, just be sick.
Well, good luck out there.
No, cheers, thank you very much.
Just a few final thoughts on that. First of all, John, when Jade refers to the word sick there, that's a good thing. It means that she would be delighted to win her 3rd gold medal. But I just want to put into context what British Taekwondo are doing. It is such an incredibly successful programme, and that DNA, as far as the Olympics is concerned, runs back to Sarah Stevenson's bronze in Beijing. Now, Sarah is from Doncaster in South Yorkshire, and Bradley Sinden is from Doncaster in South Yorkshire. So when we talked about inspiring a generation in the build-up to the 2012 Games in London, Bradley Sinden is evidence of that. The other big thing that Sarah Stevenson's bronze medal back in 2008 did was it put in place a funding programme. Jade Jones was able to benefit from that to win the gold medal in 2012. That in turn meant more funding going into British Taekwondo. The return from Rio, a gold, a silver, a bronze and a 4th place. So British Taekwondo really is one of the success stories of UK sport, and they are sending to Tokyo an incredibly strong squad. And we mentioned right at the start of Anything But Footy that Paralympics GB were today announcing the squad for the wheelchair rugby event at the Paralympics later this summer. They have announced 12 athletes. They are captained by Chris Ryan and Gavin Walker. The other selected athletes are Agbeze, Jonathan Cogan, Ryan Cowling, Nicholas Cummings, Kylie Grimes, Aaron Phipps, Jim Roberts, Stuart Robinson, Jack Smith and Jamie Stead. So that is the wheelchair rugby squad for the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Remember that wheelchair rugby was first introduced to the Paralympic programme as a test event back in Atlanta in 1996. The Paralympics GB team has competed at every game since, finishing 5th at Rio in 2016. More recently, in 2019, Great Britain were crowned European champions, retaining the title for the third successive occasion and their 7th overall. 10 of the athletes announced today were part of that gold medal winning squad.
So away from team announcements, European Athletics Team Championship Super League saw Great Britain finish third behind hosts Poland and Italy, with some great wins from team captain Jake Whiteman in the men's 800 metres, Ellie Baker in the women's, Beth Dobbin in the 200 metres, Lena Nielsen in the 400 metre hurdles, Reeve Walcott-Nolan in the women's 3,000 metres, Lauren Sequoia in the discus and the women's 4x100 metre relay. Unfortunately, the men's 4x4 dropped the baton on the last changeover as they led into the home straight. It left Great Britain 5 points off second-placed Italy.
And Poland very much the centre of athletics in Europe at the moment. It's hosting the European Para-Athletics Championships this week. 3-time Paralympic champion Stephen Miller and Vanessa Wallace are the team captains.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast, but also Commonwealth Games podcast as well. We all remember the gamesmakers of 2012. Some of them are still wearing their purple and red uniforms, or trying to squeeze into them anyway. During Volunteers Week, what better time to launch the Commonwealth Collective? 13,000 volunteers to carry kit, drive vehicles, venue preppers, meet and greet athletes.
We'll hear from Birmingham 2022 board member and Commonwealth Games gold medalist from the Gold Coast, which John never got to go to 3 years ago. In the netball, Team England captain Amma Agbeze. We'll speak to her shortly. But we welcome another friend of the show back to tell us more about how to get involved with next summer's big sporting event in the UK. She is multiple Paralympic gold medalist, world champion and world record holder. She is wheelchair racer Hannah Hurricane Cockroft.
The Games are looking for 13,000 volunteers, which is a fair amount of people. Let's be honest, it's quite a few people, but anyone can apply as long as you're over 18. There's a separate programme coming for 14 to 17-year-olds later. But whether you're old, whether you're young, whether you're able-bodied, whether you're disabled, whoever you are, just get on the website, birmingham2022.com, and apply. You don't have to have any certain skills. You don't have to have any qualifications. Obviously, we'll welcome you if you do have those, but you don't have to have those. There's a job for everyone. All hands on deck. There's plenty to do and plenty of memories to be made. So come and join us.
As an athlete, how important are the volunteers?
The volunteers make a championships. You know, they're the first people that you see in the morning and give you a friendly hello. They're the last people you see before you head out on the track and they give you a good look. And a lot of the time, they're the first people that you see when you come off the track too. So you can celebrate with them and they can see your special moments. So they are massive, you know, they make the whole kind of process of a championships actually happen and actually work out quite well. And I know that if I'm a Yorkshire girl, so if the Games ever came to Yorkshire and I wasn't there competing, I would definitely be volunteering. Just because I think it's such an amazing thing. You know, I would feel pride in showing off my home, showing off my city, and showing the world what it has to offer.
And it seems like, certainly we always talk about 2012 with you, Hannah, but it seems like 2012 changed kind of volunteering in this country. We remember the Games Makers from London 2012, and that's kind of continued. Even in the pandemic, more people have volunteered and got involved in local communities.
Yeah, I think, you know, the Games Makers were incredible at London 2012, and I think that they kind of showed people what volunteering actually can be. You know, it's being involved in some of the biggest sporting events in the world. It's being there in the depths of it. You know, when you're not an athletic person, if you don't want to be a sporty person, that's fine. But how else do you find your way in? And volunteering is that way. And, you know, we saw them, they made the moments, they were all over the news and just everywhere, stories about what the volunteers and the Games Makers had done. And everyone seems to have just carried on that legacy as the events seem to keep coming out, keep happening. We have more and more stories about volunteers there in their very brightly coloured official uniforms. But they're always so friendly. They're always so fab to chat to. And you learn a lot when you talk to them. So, yeah, they are amazing people.
Absolutely.
And Hannah, is the reason the Commonwealth Games is still important is that the Olympics is the Olympics, the Paralympics is the Paralympics. The Commonwealth Games is neither of those events, but it is an inclusive event, isn't it? And that's fairly unique. Is that why people are still interested in it 100 years after it started?
Yeah, I think that was the big thing for me. That was I've been racing 14 years now, and I've never raced at a Commonwealth Games. So this has been like the one event that I've been chasing down, and I'm finally got an event on the list. But that is the reason why, there's no segregation. It is all everybody together. You are one team. So whether you're Team England or wherever else you're from, I can't wait to be a part of that multi-sport, multi-ability, just everyone in it getting on with it. And I think that's what makes the Commonwealth Games, so special.
And you're quite in form at the minute, aren't you? Decent few days for you, couple of world records. How many world records do you have now, Hannah?
Oh, I don't.
Is there anything you are not the world record holder in?
The 5,000 meters, and I'm not doing that. So you can keep that one. I've got the 100, 200, 400, 800, and 1,500 meters. I've just come back from Switzerland where I broke the 100, 200, 400, 800. I didn't do a 1,500. Didn't feel the need to go that far. Not got that at the Paralympic Games, so I'm good just leaving that one where it is for now. And the 5K is not on my list.
In all seriousness, though, Hannah, Paralympics just around the corner. You are in great shape, good form.
Yes, I feel like I am. I feel like I'm pushing well, and the biggest thing for me is at this stage just enjoyment. It's so exciting to be back on the track, back competing. I've really, really missed it over the last 18 months. So I just wanted to get on an international playing field and see what I could do. And thankfully, lockdown seems to have served me well.
And final one from me. I just want to pick you up on something you said earlier. Does the campaign for a Yorkshire Commonwealth Games begin here? Boxing in the Peace Hall in Halifax, Headingley, Roundhay Park. It's all there, John Charles Centre.
I mean, I would support it 100%. I don't know how realistic it is at this point. I don't know how realistic it is that I'll be competing at it. But hey, if they want to go for it, I'll be right behind it.
Final question, then, Hannah, and a serious question. A lot of talk today about Naomi Osaka pulling out of a Grand Slam event because she doesn't want to talk to people like Michael and me in the media. Now that's me being flippant. There is a more serious point to that, what she's going through. And do you have respect for her for making that decision?
Honestly, I don't think anyone truly understands how much pressure the media actually put on you. If you're doing well, then 100% they are behind you. But I've also been at the flip side of that, when you're having a bad day and they will tear you apart. I've at times questioned just walking out of this sport, just leaving, because they genuinely make you feel worthless at times. And it's horrible to say, like, the media are our biggest supporters, but they're also our biggest critics. And I'm not saying that athletes shouldn't be criticised. We're people, we're going to do things wrong though. But I think she is so, so brave to just walk away and say, okay, if you can't support me, I'm out. Because that's a hard decision to make. I'm not sure what I would do in that situation. I'm not sure if I would just bow to the pressure and go, okay, I'm going to talk. But I think especially as an individual athlete, obviously I'm out there on the track on my own as well. There's a lot of pressure on that. And mental health is such an issue now more than ever, especially after what we've all just gone through. The fact that she is not getting the support is upsetting. Ultimately, we are there to be athletes. We are there to do our job on the track, on the field, on the court, wherever it is. Everything else around that is just an added extra. It's not actually what we're asked to do. It's not what we're paid for. We're just doing it to try and promote the sport that we love. So I think she needs all the praise in the world for what she's done. She's being so, so strong, and she's put herself first. And I think that's so important. You have to, at some points, when everything is just not going well, you have to put yourself first, because otherwise, being in the public eye, it tears you down after a while, and it's hard. And I've been lucky that I've only experienced that a couple of times. but those couple of times were probably the hardest months of my life. You know, just sitting and questioning, people have just suddenly forgotten all the good that I've done. Suddenly I'm the worst person in the world because I've lost a race, or I've not quite done what they want me to do. And getting your head around that is seriously difficult. So all praise to her. I support her all the way, and I can't believe that this is kind of the backlash she's getting from it. But hopefully it's putting mental health, athlete mental health, in the spotlight, and we can change things from now.
Spot on from Hannah Cockcroft. You have to have sympathy for Naomi Osaka. She has to be asked questions. I don't think she's arguing about that, but it's the persistent questions that you get asked in press conferences. And I've been at Wimbledon a few times and covered the event from there, and it's one of those events which you are, as she was fined and why she walked out on the Grand Slam, you have to go and do a press conference after your match. And it is brutal at times, and I'm not sure us as journalists sometimes are thinking about the players, certainly not thinking about their mental health, but not thinking about the players. They're thinking about the story that they're going to write. You remember Andy Murray breaking down in Melbourne and announcing his retirement right after playing, right after coming off court. And of course it looks like he's going to Tokyo this year and has been back for a year. So I think we all have sympathy for what Naomi is doing. Can it change? And can the Grand Slam? They said they want to support her and her mental health. They need to work together so the journalists can ask questions, but also the players feel like they want to talk to the media as well.
I spoke to Bianca Walkden and Jade Jones about Naomi Osaka at the Taekwondo team announcement. Both of those had a huge amount of sympathy for their fellow sportswoman. And both said the same thing to me, really, that it is something that should have been arranged and sorted weeks ago, and it shouldn't have got to this situation. I think that Jade and Bianca are exactly right in their assessment. I don't know why, on the eve of the French Open, there was just a simple statement that said Naomi Osaka would not be doing usual media duties for health reasons. And I think people would have accepted that. Maybe there was a compromise. Maybe Naomi Osaka shouldn't have to do the large press conference situation. Maybe it was just one pooled interview with a trusted journalist. And when I say trusted journalist, I mean a journalist trusted not just by Naomi Osaka, but trusted by the other journalists as well, to ask the questions that maybe need to be asked after a match of tennis. The big press conference is just a poor environment. I've sat in loads of them over the years, and it just doesn't suit anyone, really. I don't like it as a journalist because you're competing with other journalists to try and get your question or your point of view in. From a TV point of view, it's poorly framed, poorly lit. From a radio podcast point of view, you get poor quality sound. So what is the alternative to that large press conference? I'm not entirely sure, but the FA did well when they changed the setup. They moved it on during the World Cup in 2018. Team GB do it very well. They don't go in for the large press conferences. They work on a basis of pooled interviews. We've both done those pooled interviews before, where the person, say Bradley Wiggins or Justin Rose, for example, in Rio, would come and do one TV interview, one radio interview, and then one written interview, and then that interview would be circulated to everyone to use. Or they go into the small one-to-one huddles that we use quite a lot, where Team GB hold their events at things like team announcements or after medals have been won. And that seems to work better for the athletes and seems to work better for the journalists than the big press conferences. I think it's a real shame that there's not been a better response by the authorities to the situation around Naomi Osaka, especially in the year when mental health was meant to be normalised. You're listening to Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic sport podcast. We'll go back to Birmingham, and a place close to my heart after 3 years working there. In fact, it was the city where I began my career as a sports reporter. And when I think back there to the mid-90s, the late 90s when I was in Birmingham, I would have loved to have been building up to a Commonwealth Games. And I think the city will execute the games superbly well. Let's hear more, though, from Amma Agbeze, the former England netball captain, the gold medalist from the Gold Coast 3 years ago. And she told us what type of person they're looking for to represent England's second city.
It's incredibly exciting. I think it just shows that the Games is becoming more real. I think with the easing of lockdown, hopefully people are excited to sign up to be part of the Games next year. And hopefully by then, everything's free and people can just show how vibrant and culturally diverse Birmingham is when the Games get there.
And you've obviously competed at events like this. How important is the role of volunteers, getting you onto court in the right time to win a gold medal, for example?
Volunteers are imperative to the Games. The Games cannot happen without them. As you know, we're looking for 13,000 volunteers. So I think that large number shows how important volunteers are. The Games can't happen without them. And there's a plethora of jobs. So there's 300 jobs available for volunteers at the Birmingham Games, from driving, first aiders, kit carriers, venue preparation, media centre input. So there's just a whole host of things. And without them, the Games wouldn't happen. So as an athlete, we rely heavily on them. We're really grateful for them. They're also a public face that athletes get to see when the Games are on, because as an athlete, you're in the village, which is a bubble where only accredited people can go. You get onto transport, which is special transport where only accredited people can use. You go to training or competition facilities where only accredited people can have access to certain areas. And so you're kind of kept in a bubble sort of away from the public. So volunteers are in all those places and they're the cheery people. Sometimes just before you compete, a volunteer is the last person in the public that you have access to interact with. And so they're just really important for athletes to be able to perform on the day when they're competing.
Because lots of people will see volunteers, they'll see the foam hands, the bright outfits and everything else that goes with being a volunteer. But actually, because you're volunteering for Birmingham 2022, you are essential to that smooth running, whether that's medical, whether that's going into doping, media operations. These are all really crucial roles, aren't they?
100%, and no role is too small because we need every single role covered. And as you said, there's doctors, physios, chiropractors and medical people that are needed, but then there's a whole host of jobs which you don't need to have skills for because there'll be training provided. So we're looking for a wide range of people from all walks of life. The only stipulation is that you can speak English, but we do want people who speak other languages because there's foreign people coming to the Games who speak different languages. It will be really nice to make them feel at home by welcoming them in their own language. So we still want a whole host of people. And also parasport is included within the Commonwealth Games. And so we're looking for people of all abilities as well, just to reflect the Games and reflect the modern Commonwealth.
Birmingham, as I said, is your home city and it's such a diverse city as well. What will it be like as a Commonwealth Games host?
I think Birmingham will be incredible as a Commonwealth Games host because Birmingham itself, I think, does reflect the Commonwealth in terms of the different cultures that live within Birmingham. And Birmingham's a very young, I think, the most people under 30 in Europe in the city. So it's very young and just reflective of the Commonwealth. And so it's almost like a microcosm of the Commonwealth. And we want to be able to show that. And we want the world to see Birmingham for what it is. I think for a long time, Birmingham's been sort of forgotten within the UK. London's a main focus, obviously, capital, and then Manchester is a focus. But I think people forget that Birmingham is the second city. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of industry. The Games are hopefully creating more jobs, better infrastructure. And so once the Games have gone, hopefully Birmingham will remain as a focus point for people within the UK, but also globally.
And Amma, you're a board member of Birmingham 2022. So how important is it that Michael mentioned about diversity, that the volunteers represent the diverse nature of Birmingham? You need 13,000, but is there a percentage where you're looking for the diverse community to get involved, the local community to get involved?
There's no strict numbers, I think, in terms of fulfilling different quotas, but we do just want it to be reflective. So we're trying to get the message out as far and wide as we can. So we do get a whole host and just encouraging people to apply. So you could ask your neighbour, we could go to religious organisations, different schools, lots of things. You do have to be over 18. There's a different volunteer programme for 14 to 17-year-olds, but for this one that we're launching, you have to be over 18. And we do just want to encourage anybody and everybody and to apply as soon as you can, because obviously we want 13,000, so more people will have to apply so that we can whittle it down. But the sooner you apply, the more the sifting process can start early, and then hopefully you'll be let know what role you're doing and if you've been successful.
We've been talking for about 10 minutes. I think Michael's mentioned the Gold Coast probably once or twice. The fact he was there watching.
He's showing off.
Watching you win that gold medal. Where do you think Team England are a year out before the defence of their gold medal?
Yeah, so I had to step down from the Team England board to take up the role on the Birmingham 22 board, which was disappointing because as part of Team England, I wanted to help to contribute to help Team England do better. But now I'm sort of an overall seer, so representative of all athletes across the Commonwealth. I do think Team England are in a good place, and I think with the home games, you hope that the crowd will help to lift you and support you. So I imagine Team England are hoping to win more medals than they did on the Gold Coast, hoping to top the table. And I definitely know netball are hoping to maybe not recreate that moment because it was very stressful, I think, for a lot of people, but hoping to win a gold medal. And if we do, then do it winning comfortably by 20 goals so that everyone can keep their hearts.
Twice. Semi-final and final.
Yeah, I know.
We've done it twice.
I think we shortened a lot of people's lives by a significant, even just a few seconds.
Well, it was a terrific memory.
Yeah, we can't wait for the games and having something to celebrate in this country as well. So thanks for talking to Anything But Footy, Emma.
Thank you very much.
Now, you can get involved, help out, spend your summer doing something worthwhile rather than watching Love Island. You can apply birmingham2022.com. That's birmingham2022.com.
And as always, you can get in touch anytime at Anything But F on Twitter. You can drop us a message on Instagram or Facebook. Our website is anythingbutfooty.com. You can send us a message there, or you can email us anythingbutfooty@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you.
So we've talked teams for Taekwondo, for diving, and for wheelchair rugby. The Olympics and Paralympics are getting closer, and we're here all the way.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.